Coming up on Network Africa. From sports to politics, former football star Weah is elected president of Liberia. And the Supreme Court in South Africa gives the go-ahead for an impeachment motion process over President Jacob Zuma. And in Egypt, gunmen attacked yet another church in Cairo. It's the last edition of the program for the year, and it's a pleasure to have you. I am Bisi Adebayo. We begin in Liberia, where supporters of ex-football star Weah are celebrating his victory after results of the runoff elections were announced. With more than 98% of the votes counted, Mr. Weah led with 61% against his opponent, Vice President Joseph Boakai's 38.5%. The last democratic transfer of power was in the country. It was in 1944. Liberia saw a military coup in 1980 and thousands died as a result of the 14-year civil war that ended in 2003.
Former football star Weah is president-elect of Liberia. After garnering more than 60% of the vote cast, he beat his opponent Joseph Boakai to claim victory, setting up the first peaceful transfer of power in the Western African nation since 1944. As news of Mr. Weah's victory emerged, his supporters began celebrating and jubilating in the capital, Monrovia.
Too happy because this our president was cast together in so many ways. They call him so many names. They call him, he is not educated, he is not competent, but this is the man that his dream come true. I'm too overproud and excited. Weah, the president of Liberia.
Mr. Weah, who is the only African footballer to have won both FIFA World Player of the Year and the prestigious Ballon d'Or, entered politics after his retirement from football in 2002. Born on the 1st of October 1966, 51-year-old Weah grew up in the Clara town slum in Monrovia. He served as a senator for the Congress for Democratic Change since 2015, after returning home from an international soccer career. Weah, a national hero in Liberia, became the first non-European to win European Soccer's Player of the Year award in 1995. The same year, he picked up the African and World Player of the Year awards. He will succeed Erling Johnson-Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female president in the country's first democratic handover in decades. Liberia has stabilized in the past decade after a long and bloody civil war, but it is still struggling with acute poverty and corruption. From producing Africa's first elected female president, it has now produced its first ex-footballer as head of state.
Liberia is probably a country with many firsts, but in South Africa, a high court has found that its parliament failed to comply with its duties in holding President Jacob Zuma accountable over a public funding case. It ruled today that the parliament must now set out rules for impeachment proceedings, but it's quite unsure if this will lead to any impeachment. The court was hearing a case brought by opposition groups who wanted Parliament to be compelled to begin impeachment. It relates to Mr. Zuma's use of state funds to upgrade his private home.
In our view, the processing of that motion did not comply with Section 89. The Assembly simply debated and voted on the motion. It did not satisfy itself that the violation of the Constitution on which the motion was based was of the kind contemplated in the section. Therefore, we conclude that the Assembly did not hold the President to account as was required by Section 89.
Thank you. The court will adjourn.
Joining us now is our South African Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia. Betty, tell us more about this impeachment motion that the court has ruled to begin.
Well, you know, several times in the past year, I think President Jacob Zuma survived about eight or so attempts to get him out of office for what, especially they were holding on to the Kandla issue and the other cases. But this particular one, after everything, the EFCC, if you recall the last vote, the EFF, sorry, not EFCC, the EFF and some of the other parties, the opposition parties, had taken that to the Constitutional Court to seek clarity. They wanted an order, you know, compelling the Leader of Parliament to institute a committee to investigate the conduct of the President. And the issue of impeachment, we know that Section 89 of the Constitution gave instances in which the President would leave office. We don't have impeachment as a word in that. And then the case that has happened several times, the ANC still has a majority in Parliament. So it's never quite worked out. And they took this to court. Now the court has stated specifically that the Parliament has failed to hold the President to account, meaning there's nothing stopping them going further. But you know, the court cannot direct the Parliament what exactly to do. Will not. So that's why they talked about them having that part a committee or putting the process in place to look at how to get to probably vote on the President being removed from office. If someone fails, not just President Zuma, any other president, because some of these things were not foreseen earlier.
Now, how's the government and even South Africans, how are they all reacting to this ruling?
Apart from being in Christmas mood, we know that the opposition party members are celebrating, that they know that now the leadership of the Parliament would be put in a spot. We'll have to do something much more than has been done. We know that the first part of Section 89 talks about the 2/3 majority vote, which, you know, which always works in the favor of the majority party. So now they ask them to, this process is going to take every single member of Parliament, all the parties, to figure out how to get that going beyond just the vote of the majority party. And we know the ANC is just coming out of the NASREC conference, the elected conference that they've been talking about unity. We don't know if they're going to be close to France this time. And we also know that whatever they do has implications beyond this. Politically, it will be bad to have two presidents recalled back to back, as I keep saying, and that they're also being looked at as a party that is losing integrity because they're supporting a leader that a lot of people are not very happy about because of all the change of controversies as well.